It is 3, 2, 1. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and beers, here me, Bradley G and KC2.
Hey.
The two of us.
Yep.
What are we talking about today?
Oh, I wonder.
I went on a recent vacation, and it was a personal development vacation. And this
Is that
is
what we're calling it?
well, I'm starting.
I mean, that's what it was.
I got to create some curiosity, so stick around for 15 minutes.
Well,
it is personal development. Huh?
If they've listened to us before, then they should know what it is.
Well,
but
that's what
I can't assume that.
That's what I was getting at. A lot of people don't listen to us before. It ends up being people that are just trolling on the internet, and that's what we're trying to get is some community built here.
Right.
Instead of talking to people that don't get it, the unenlightened few million. So I went on a retreat. It was in Costa Rica, and you can figure out what kind of retreat it was, but it was at a very nice facility. We'll start with that. I really suggest an all-inclusive environment because it's like you land at the airport and there's nothing you got to worry about.
Right. I like going all-inclusive. There's only a couple of exceptions. There's this one place I like to go in Mexico that just only reason why I don't go all-inclusive there is because this is like old school place. It's been there the longest. It's like one of the oldest hotels there. But other than that, all-inclusive is nice. Because literally you walk in, you don't have to worry about anything.
This venue, first off, is expensive. It's $5,000. About that.
Which is not that bad, honestly, for what
you
get.
when you see all the others out there. But the place is beautiful. The way it was built, the way it was manicured and everything, and the way that people took care of you, it was so easy to check in. There wasn't all sorts of this shit that you had to, check this and check that. It was so easy to check in.
They picked you up from the airport and everything?
They pick you up from the airport. I mean,
nice.
I just had to get from here down to Liberia airport. And then the guy had the little sign. And he says, go over here and sit. We've got one more coming. And I just sat and waited. And then we get in the van and we head out to the retreat center, which is in, I don't even know what city it's in and stuff. But the place is called Rhythmia. So you can Google that. And then you'll have a real good idea of what it's all about. But the place is so beautifully manicured.
Yeah.
There's no problem with leaving your door open because the people aren't going to steal from you. They don't have to.
Right.
But there are people on the outside, so there's fencing up with barbed wire and all that kind of stuff, and an electric fence around the whole perimeter. There's people walking around all night, security, making sure everything's all tight. So there's no fear of any of that kind of stuff happening. But Costa Rica is a pretty chill place anyways. So the facility stuff was all just great. And the way they've got the stuff set up, the whole program, it's like you land in there, and then there's the Monday, and then there's Tuesday, Wednesday. There's everything's all blocked out in a grid. There's some things that nothing's really mandatory, but it's highly suggested. And if you don't do it, you don't do it. But these are the things you got to do. And then this place blocks out for free time, and there's things going on during your free time, so you can go do that kind of thing. Journaling and all that kind of stuff, and all the lunches, the breakfasts and lunches, those are all inclusive. You just go there and fill up your plate with whatever you want to eat. If you want to eat anything, you got to be careful what you put in because a lot is coming out. We can get into all that too.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you can start asking me questions if you want.
Sure, absolutely. But I mean, you were doing so well describing the place. I mean, this place sounds beautiful. I know you sent some images of it while you were gone, and it looked like there was a compassion Buddha statue in the middle of it where the meditation space was.
There's Buddhas all over the place. There's a labyrinth that you walk. The pathways, it's really hard to keep track of where you are because the pathways are all curvy and stuff trying to navigate around. So it's hard to figure out where the restaurant is and where's the conference room and where's the Maluka?
Maluka?
The place. I think it's called Maluka.
Oh, okay.
Magdala. I can't remember. I'm not good at remembering all those names, but the place where they did the ceremonies.
Yeah.
And we'll just let people know it's an ayahuasca retreat. If you know what ayahuasca is, then you can understand. And
perfect.
So that's what it was. The cat's out of the bag.
I
do that slowly because some people an example was my wife had her son pick me up. And he knows what he knows what she does. She's a shaman. And he was asking me, so how did it go? What did you do? Because I think she only told me it was a personal development retreat kind of thing.
Okay.
And I let him know what it was. He goes, yeah, I understand all that stuff. And I said, it's kind of like what your mom does. And he says, well, she doesn't do drugs. I said, this isn't drugs.
Right.
There's a big difference between the stuff that our Mother Earth delivers to us and Grandma Ayahuasca and Pfizer.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
So it's not a drug. It's not a chemically create a synthetic.
Right.
You know, the whole world's created from the elements. You know,
Right.
Gold and minerals and lead and things. It's all created out of that. And somehow this shit all comes together. You can do your own research on how that stuff works. Casey, if you want to talk and learn more about it, he knows more about how this stuff is built and all that stuff than I do. I just know of it. There's also breathwork sessions and stuff in there. And just to let you know, the first one was very chill and opening. The second one had male energy, masculine energy in it.
Yep.
The third one had feminine energy to it. And the fourth one had all this closure energy.
Oh, so you did 4.
There's 4.
Nice.
And it was
I thought you were
designed
going to
that way. It was designed that way to acclimate, feel the masculine warrior energy, which you can ask me questions and I'll tell you stories.
Yeah.
And then it goes into see the opposite of that, the beautiful feminine energy.
Nice.
I learned what beauty is. I knew what beautiful is, but this ain't the same, man.
Yeah.
And then the what would you call it? The almost an integration kind of chilling out part of it.
Yeah, yeah. Did they do hape or anything like that during it, or?
Yes, there was some of that kind of stuff, but those are the things that I don't remember. What is hape?
Hape is that's the where they do the tobacco in the nose. It's basically have a little powder and they blow it in the nose.
The shamans were doing that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if any of the.
It's supposed to unbody load you. So like if you get somebody who's too much in a body load and they're having a really hard time, you go and you give them the hape and it goes right into them and they go, ooh, and then it kind of calms them down. It allows them to go up into the head. Because the grandmother medicine, the ayahuasca, right, is paired with hape, which is grandfather medicine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So it's the other end of the stick.
Yep, exactly.
Well, let me preface a little bit about, like, when I went down there, you know that I was looking to remove blocks.
Yep.
My logical mind, which I have a hard time with, I'm always in this logical sense. I couldn't get into the fluffy part. I needed to know, what is the block I want to release? Right. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what that block was. And I just kept on my intention all the time was release the blocks, release the blocks, release the blocks, release the blocks. So what happens for those believers and non-believers is there's stuff beyond your physical body and your physical stuff in your body, like your nutrients and your cells and all that. Then there's this woo-woo spiritual energy stuff. And if you're an atheist, you probably don't believe something like that exists. But you wouldn't exist if it didn't exist. There's that spiritual energy, we call it. And there's spiritual blocks.
Yep.
And I know that I've got these. You get some of them psychologically through childhood. You're conceived and you're in the womb. And mom says, Jesus Christ, you're out drinking again, talking to her husband. And you feel that energy and you grab it as a little kid. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You just go, and you grab that stuff and you're still in the freaking womb. You're not even born yet. So when you're conceived, just the thought of you, and all of a sudden you happen. And then you're born and you get to be 2-3 years old and you wet your pants and mom goes, Jesus Christ, you shit like a fucking... I'm speaking lovingly to my mother. I understand now, Mom. But that stuff gets ingrained in you. And like, I want a candy bar. Money doesn't grow on trees, for crying out loud. You think we are made of money? That goes into my subconscious stuff.
Right.
So my thing was to remove these blocks. I didn't know what the fuck they were. And I knew I had some problems with money stuff. It wasn't flowing after I gave up Media Max. So my first night, I did 2 cups of the ayahuasca.
Nice.
That's it. Just 2.
2 cups, I'm assuming small.
They're shots.
Yeah.
Shot glass. Little shot glass. It doesn't taste as bad as people said it tastes, but it is kind of hard to keep it down. And it was down, and
It's a little bitter.
This wasn't bitter. It's actually sweet.
Oh, must have been slightly different mix.
This was actually sweet. And, or maybe it was bitter and I didn't know it. But I wasn't bitter. So nothing. You're supposed to see psychedelic images and hallucinations and all that stuff and feel a tingly high feeling or whatever. But it's not really a drug like doing
anything else?
Alcohol.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel any of that stuff. I go through the whole, these things were long, 5:30 to 2:30 the next morning, 5:30 in the afternoon, 2:30 next morning.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Long of sitting, listening to music, watching people dance, listening to the drumming, acclimating to it. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I thought $5,000 for this. And I'm
so really
there.
Nothing, no feeling, no emotion, no anything.
Not really. I was just
That's
observing
interesting.
It. Yep, I was just chilling. And but what do you remember what I asked for?
Yep.
Release of the blocks. So I'm sitting there and we're listening to the shaman at the end, and it's almost done. It's like 2 in the morning. And all of a sudden I feel this gurgling on my stomach. Whoa, uh-oh. I think I'm going to be sick, or I think I got to go to the bathroom. So I get up.
I hate that feeling. That happened to me on ayahuasca too.
Well, it happens to a lot of people. That'll be in more of the stories, because there's a lot of pain in this world.
Yeah.
I don't have that pain that a lot of these people have, fortunately. But so I want to get rid of all these blocks. And I started thinking, I'm 67 years old almost, June 19th. How many seconds? Because every second is an experience.
Yeah.
How many seconds are in 67 years?
That's a lot of seconds.
Billions of seconds. I'm not sure what billion. It's a lot of seconds that are potential blocks in my system. And I asked to get rid of all of them. I said, I don't know which one. I want to get rid of them all. Oh, get them out. I'm done with this. So I'm gurgling. I get up. I got to go to the bathroom. So I start running. And I think, should I go get my bucket? Fuck the bucket. I had to go to the bathroom. I go in there as fast as I can because I'm running out of time. And I'm to the toilet. And I'm about 3 feet away. And projectile vomiting. The bowl, the rim, the tank, the lid, the wall, both walls.
Oops.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
Nasty. So that was all done. I pooped a little bit. So I thought that purge was in my pants, and those things went in the garbage, and I was going to burn them. Felt so good after that. And after this, we were instructed, ask mother what it is. Ask grandmother what it is. And I just got blocks. So all that shit purged at once. Almost all of it. Almost all of it. And I felt so light after that. So that was day 1.
So literally that was your day 1. You get in there and then you check in, you go to sleep, you wake up the next day, and then that was your day.
What was that?
Or I'm asking, like, so whenever you got there and you checked in, was it literally that night that you went through the first experience?
No.
Or is it the very next day?
No, it's the next day. It was
next day, okay.
I get in on Sunday.
So it's your first full day.
That's my first full day. I get in Sunday, there's just go eat something, relax, chill out. And that was my first full day, and then the ceremony's at night.
Geez, my first ayahuasca experience was definitely better than that. What
do you mean better?
This
was a good experience. I had
I guess I haven't heard the shit.
I had 67 years of programming.
And then you asked, "What is this?" And literally, what you got is
these are the blocks you asked for. Yeah.
Right.
So that was good. I mean, it only took literally seconds to go bleh.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take very long.
No.
And this is the thing that actually I need that I always need to tell the audience. So when you purge from doing something like this, it is not the same. Whenever you're thinking like, I'm sick, and you're like dry heaving and everything else. No, the purge is very simple. You feel the push. It's it's out, and then you're done, and you feel great.
And it
It's
doesn't,
like, it's done.
and it doesn't taste like vomit.
No.
You don't got that burning acid
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, there's none of that.
It's just out.
It's just out.
Yeah.
It's just out. And with ayahuasca, it's a little bit different with mushrooms, because with ayahuasca, it goes both ends. Like, it's clearing out your bowels and everything, and like it goes like you feel it down in.
That'll go
right?
into the time of the colonic, which was Tuesday.
Yeah. So with the mushrooms, you do it, and the purge is like literally, it's like more liquid. So it's like it's just like it's water coming out. It's really not a big deal. With the ayahuasca, it's a little bit different, but again, it's just a purge, and then we're done.
No,
So
it's not as
next
bad as
stage.
most people thought it was, but it was a good thing.
So what happened after that? Like, I'm assuming like somebody just like, oh yeah, good job, and then they went in there and cleaned it all without even noticing it.
Well, when I came out, the girl says, "Do you need to go in and use?" She was wondering if I was done. Do you need to go in? I says, "I ain't going back in there. That place is a mess." And she goes, "Oh, go ahead, finish." I said, "I ain't going in there. That place is a mess." So I went into a different bathroom and cleaned myself up because I had purged through the underwear too.
Okay.
So I had to. Well, my upside was okay, but I had to clean up all my stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah.
I went into a different bathroom and literally cleaned up
Yeah.
all that stuff, got rid of it. But then after that, I just went home, go to sleep. Went back to the cabin and went to sleep.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean,
I didn't
that's
feel
intense.
bad. I didn't feel bad and all that kind of stuff. But that was day one, and that
So
was,
you just felt great after that.
I felt not great, but it wasn't like I thought I was going to feel. I mean, when you hear these other people purging into a bucket, it's nasty.
Yeah.
It sounds nasty.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
And again,
yes.
I really, I'm thankful that I don't have the stuff that a lot of other people have. They've got a lot of pain, like, parents dying at a young age violently, or seeing people murdered, or children dying and having multiple abortions and rapes and murders and
all the crazy
nasty
stuff that people go through.
Because people share and they tell their stories.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a lot of that sharing. In fact, I didn't share a lot and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because I've actually had a pretty good life with all that stuff.
Yeah.
But so that was day one. Got rid of it all Monday. And next morning I get up and go grab breakfast, and you go to your classes. And there's a lot of humor going on. All these people are really cool people. The speakers are great, telling jokes and stuff, and a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Sometimes I can't remember consciously what my day was. I'll have to look into my journaling to find out what I did certain days. But I also did, and wasn't looking forward to, a colonic. If you don't know what that is, that's cleaning your butt out a little bit. You done that?
I had to do that whenever I had a lower GI. So yes.
Well, I've never done that. And that also was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And what was interesting about all this puke and shit stuff, it's not puke shit stuff. It's just stuff.
It's just stuff.
Yeah, it's not. At first I thought, oh my God, you're sitting here and clearing. It's like a urinal on its back. You're sitting on this thing and pushing this stuff through. And just clears all that stuff out. So that helps get all the stuff that was in there before out of you. That's the colonic part. That's all included in the package too. There's extra fees for that. There's a massage, and there's saunas and hot tubs and cold plunges, and there's a lot of other activities and things that you can do. So should we go on to day 2?
Yeah, let's go on to day 2, because I really want to hear this. Like, this is fascinating. The type of retreat that he went to, just so everybody knows, like, I mean, this is the type of retreat that everybody wishes an ayahuasca retreat was like. It is literally the cream of the crop.
Well, part of my plans for the collaborative, the Synergy Collaborative, is I want to create sort of a scholarship type thing for people that can't afford to do it, that want to do it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That up so that people can say, okay, we're reaching a hat, and you're the winner. You get to come to Costa Rica, you got to pay your airfare, and everything else will be taken care of. Sweet. That's what I want to build up. Yeah. For everybody in the world, not just in Fridley. Nice. So number 2 was the masculine vibe. And the venue, they had the concentric circles on the masculine side up on the ceiling. with the feminine energy.
Yeah,
And
cool.
then they had the angular squares and triangles on the female side up on the ceiling. Then they had some other
cool.
artwork that had the masculine stuff and the feminine stuff. So it had both sides of the masculine and feminine. It's not man, woman. It's energetic, masculine. More sharp edges and protrusions and muscle, and female is more love and dancing and chill. So the second one, same thing. I did 2 shots.
Yeah. Were they bigger shots this time?
No, little cups, 2 shots.
Okay.
It's like a shot glass. They give you a little shot glass. I could have brought it with me. It says Rhythmia on it. Little white shot glass. Their logo on it.
So do they tell you if they make them stronger or anything like that, or is it the same exact concoction that
they
you know
don't really
of?
tell you. The shamans know this stuff. I don't know how they know all this stuff, but now I know that they just know.
They just know.
So it isn't a stronger. I don't even know how they could really do that. How do you measure how much of this DMT stuff is in a piece of bark? And
well, you don't. So like there's different colors to it whenever you're making it, and so like I have not made it, right? But this is my understanding, because I have colleagues of mine that I talk to who they sit for ayahuasca. They were trained in Peru and they do this kind of stuff. And they talk about the color. So like the color of the bark and the color of the vine and things like that, you can tell it's going to be stronger or not.
Sure.
But so this has been my experience. When I thought it was mild, the shaman literally just circled it in his hand and went and just like breathed energy into it and then handed it to me, and sure enough, it was stronger.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. They do this magic stuff.
They do.
I don't want people to think that, oh, you're one of those woo-woo kind of. I mean,
you have to experience it to really like to understand that. But yeah, it's
you have to have an
magical.
open mind. There was a guy there that was a hardcore atheist, and even he had a miraculous experience at the very end that I'll get to on the last session, the breathwork session.
Yeah. So let's
we're on 2.
Yeah, day 2. Were you doing breath work during the day to prep for it?
Yes, breath work is part of it.
What type of breath work were they working with? Was it like holotropic breathing? Or?
I don't remember all the technical names. I have a hard time with all that stuff. It was just breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Oh, okay.
It's longer, and then it's let it out.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice like pranic breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly doing that. And I'm an advocate of breath work because that's the thing that got me to forgive my mother and father for leaving me as a little kid at home when it was dark and they went to the bar and came back and gave me a Nut Goody candy bar. Breath work is what showed me that.
Yeah.
Miraculous things happen in the breath work too.
They do, absolutely.
They did at this thing.
Yeah.
And also because you've got some of the ayahuasca in you, you end up getting those visuals and psychedelic experiences and stuff from that. So day 2, I did get a little tingly. I did have some psychedelic, or what do you call it?
Visuals, hallucinations.
Hallucinations. But I don't know if I can call them hallucinations because of the other things we talked in other episodes. Is you've got this light spectrum that we're familiar with, and then there's this other spectrum that we don't know about.
Right.
So
which is what we were talking about with DMT, yeah.
So were these visuals, was I seeing things? Yes, I was seeing things, but I wasn't seeing things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So describe it. So like what was going on?
Well, there was one guy from Australia. His name is Sean, and he's really cool dude. He does breathwork sessions all over the world.
Sure.
And he's a big muscle guy, tattoos, long hair, real hippie. And his wife, these guys were like love together. Mm-hmm. They're just together. And he was there, and some stuff started going down. Not hard to say. It wasn't him.
Yeah.
It was something within him.
Yeah.
That things were happening. It was really weird. I see these beings, and I didn't know if they're from our group or not, because they're really tall.
Oh,
right? It was dark. It's dark in there, so I couldn't see them. But I see these people coming together, and they confront each other.
Mhm.
and they kind of moved the other person back. Nobody was pushing each other, but
Mhm.
they were energetic. It was an energetic fight.
Nice.
Not really a fight either. It was just my energy versus your energy. I guess it was like a Tai Chi session or something. Did you ever see the movie Avatar?
Yes.
Those tall beings.
Yes.
That's what it was like. So I see these tall beings and I go, that guy's not from our group.
That sounds like you were seeing DMT entities.
Yeah, or aliens or avatar beings or whatever,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And the Sean guy was going through some stuff. He's going through some aggressive masculine stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to him why he was experiencing this stuff, but it got to be into this situation where all these beings are starting to gather around him. Some of our real people, I could tell, were there, and some of the helpers that were helping work with the shamans and stuff.
Mhm.
Other were getting around him and trying to calm down. You could hear, be calm, be calm, be calm. You could hear all these shamans going, be calm, because there was some stuff rising. And then all of a sudden, Sean did a little bit of a lunge towards this guy. And bam, 4 security guards, grab him, knock him down, take him out, took him outside. They wrapped him up on a stretcher and taped him up and had him all tied down. And it happened, it was gone, done. He's like out of here.
Wow.
And the ceremony, you didn't really notice anything. You just saw a little bit of ruckus and it was gone. Talking with Sean after, he said he did not know that anybody was pinning him down. He just knew he couldn't move his arms up. He didn't know there's anybody there.
Wow. So he went in deep then. Yeah, that's the tricky thing with ayahuasca. Ayahuasca, you can give everybody the exact same dose, and sometimes that dose would be really strong for people, and other times it's really mellow. And the ayahuasca, the ayahuasca entities, that grandmother medicine, you can talk to it and tell it this is too much for me, and it'll calm down.
Yes.
And if you're like, I think I need a little bit more, it'll like shoot you up there.
Yes, and that's kind of what I meant by the dosage doesn't matter.
It really
got
doesn't.
a freaking volume switch on it or something.
It does. It's so weird.
So that situation with all those beings, like you call them DMT entities.
Yeah.
I guess that was them. But I don't think that they're with our group. I think they were other beings that came in and says, we got to deal with this guy's energy. Something's going on here.
Yeah.
But it was fascinating talking with him that he said he didn't know anybody was there. He was just pinned down. He couldn't move.
Weird.
He didn't know that he was being secured by the security. So that was one of my psychedelic experiences, seeing these people walking around. You didn't know if they were actually in the group or if they were beings from outside of the group that happened to show up on a different light spectrum.
But they didn't quite look human. So
no, they weren't human. They were something
Right.
else, kind of like in the movie Avatar. They're a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just there protecting stuff, just walking around. See people, a lot of other people just laying on their bed.
Were they the beings with the big beards?
No.
And the weird kind of like heads?
Ears? No. No alien heads or like that.
Oh, because there's these one beings that have almost like this weird like dome shape to their head. It's really weird. So a lot of people report them, and usually they have almost like a beard structure. But no, so you were seeing tall, thin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
So that part happened. And another thing that happened as far as the psychedelic experience was there was this guy, this bald dude, that he was a real dude with a black shirt on, and he was a helper walking around, picking up people's buckets and moving shit around and taking care of things. He's walking around, and I'm looking at him, watching him walk away, and all of a sudden his head disappears. I go, what the fuck? And all of a sudden his head comes back. Did I see that? You have to think about it. Did I actually see this guy's head disappear? And I watched him some more.
Sure.
And he comes back around again, and there he goes walking past my bed. Okay. Whoa. His head just disappeared. And he walks a little further, and then it came back again. And it might have been the light somehow.
Sure.
That's why I like this concept of the light spectrums and the sound spectrums, the different hertz levels of things.
Yeah.
That maybe when his energetic spectrum of light got under the light, maybe it neutralized something out where now all of a sudden I can't see his physical form,
Yeah.
his flesh. I didn't even notice if his arms disappeared.
So what was going on internally during all of this? Were you still beginning to have revelations and?
No, it was okay. Now I'm seeing stuff.
Yeah.
I can visualize and the psychedelic element of stuff.
Sure.
And again, I don't think it's that you're seeing stuff. It's that you're seeing stuff. You're starting to see these other spectrums of light. Because some people think, you think there's aliens? Well, this is a big fucking universe. So the chances, are there really beings from other planets that come and visit us? Chances are pretty good.
Well, the DMT entities, if you talk to them, they will tell you it's pretty much universal that people who talk to them report that these DMT entities tell us that they're always here, that we just don't know that they're here.
That's what I'm saying. There's that kind of stuff. There's the white noise that you don't hear because it cancels out certain sounds. So for anybody that's more logical and scientific, that's my scientific understanding of it. They're just vibrating at a different frequency that we can't comprehend. Kind of like tuning in the radio. If you can't hear KQRS, you got to adjust the knob a little bit.
Yeah.
And, oh, hey, music. So that was day 2. I think that's pretty much it. And then I didn't, I mean, you end up going to the bathroom a lot because there's a lot of stuff you got to get rid of. But I didn't really have any. Day 1 was the oral purge.
Yeah.
That got rid of.
You didn't have that the second day.
I didn't have that ever again.
Oh, nice. Well, I had
that's
mine was the second day.
My intention was there to get rid of it all.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Nice.
Done with it. So I learned also that everything is a purge. Not everything, but everything that's out is a purge. When you sweat, it's a purge. You burp, it's a purge. You hiccup, it's a purge.
Yep.
If you yawn, it's a purge. If you get your hair cut, you're purging it. Even like I had some dirty underwear that I washed but didn't get really clean, so I said that's got to be purged. That's out of here. That's a purge. That energy has got to go. I can still visually see the stain in the underpants. I don't need it. I probably should have left it in Costa Rica in the fire, but I didn't. Now it's gone. So that was day 2, that masculine energy situation.
Sure.
Are we done with 2?
We can be done with 2. I mean, I was going to ask you emotionally though, like, I mean, where did you feel you were at? Because I know on day 1, you were talking about how you weren't really feeling anything, and you were kind of having a doubt as to, well, I can't believe I paid $5,000 for this. And then by the end of the night, you had that big purge, and then you kind of were like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So on day 2, did you go into it like with better expectations?
What do you mean, go into day 2 with better expectations?
Yeah, because on day 1, I think maybe your expectations were a little bit higher.
I tried to not have expectations.
Okay.
Because that will judge it, and that's kind of what you'll experience if you have that expectation.
Yeah, and it kind of sounded to me like for that day 1, like you were disappointed by the lack of ayahuasca expression.
No, I didn't want to come off that way. I wasn't disappointed.
Okay.
I wasn't disappointed by any of this.
Sure.
In fact, normally when someone when I do a survey, I'll give 4s because I'm going, nobody's fucking 5. Or I'll do 9s because you're not 10.
Okay.
I gave Rhythmia 5s. I have nothing to complain about. I just got emotional now. I'm feeling a little emoting right now. There's something going on there. But on day 2, no, I did not feel emotion.
Okay.
That was a masculine day.
Nice.
Masculine men don't feel emotion.
Oh no, I feel a lot of emotion. but okay.
But that's kind of my point. Is this was a masculine time. This day 2, at least that's what I felt. And men don't.
So were you having a lot of did you have any other expressions like during that night, or was it just hallucinations?
Nope. It was the aha, these beings are here. There was that masculine situation that happened. It was observing stuff, just watching people and just thinking about stuff. Because my mantra or the Rhythmia mantra is, the first one is show me who I've become. And that means what have I been programmed into being, my personality that was created since conception to about 7 to 10 years old. That shows me who I become. So I was focusing on that intention.
Sure.
And then the second Rhythmia attention is to merge me back to my soul at any cost. Well, that means puking and burping and farting and purging to
Sure.
get back to that soul. Because they talk about a soul split. When was a time in your life where you split from your soul?
Okay.
You had a circumstance in your life, like maybe your loving mother got mad and gave you a spanking.
So
Maybe that's when you split.
That's interesting. So they're coming at it with a little bit of soul retrieval method too.
Yes.
Cool.
And then the last thing is I can't remember what the last thing is. It'll come to me. The third thing of intention. It's show me who I become, merge me with my soul. Shit. I'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
Stay tuned.
Should we go on to the day 3?
Let's go on to day 3.
Yeah.
Day 3 was...
That's the feminine day, right?
They don't designate it as a feminine day, but that was the energy that was set up with the whole thing. We just came to the conclusion that Tuesday was masculine, aggressive, drumming, hard stuff like that. And the feminine was more
nice,
soft.
Nice.
That's when I emoted.
Okay.
That's when my feeling came out.
Nice.
I didn't really have aggressive feelings. I had beautiful feelings. Some of these people were probably part of the staff, the women dancing around in these flowing gowns. And then some people were just of the group. Guys were dancing.
Yeah.
There was one guy that did some of the ceremonies dancing. Oh, he was so fucking funny. I mean, crying laughter. He was so funny. I can't remember the guy's name because he's a weird name. But there was this one blonde woman in this white dress. I think she was part of the staff because Pumpkin said, oh, that was Dawn or whoever the hell it was. But it didn't seem like a human. It seemed like it was just floating around, spinning and twirling around.
Nice.
Walking around this whole thing. And you see all these people dancing around. There was also a series of people that needed deeper healings, and they were probably doing some of that tobacco type stuff with all that, and
sure,
rattles and drums and spraying the stuff. And
did anybody do a combo?
What's that?
Combo is basically they serve it in the same place that ayahuasca comes from, but basically it's a poison frog.
Tincture?
No, it's poison frog. They take.
Oh no.
So they burn like 3 little dots on your skin and then they rub it on.
No, they didn't do that.
Okay.
But they did have some tinctures and stuff that they would.
Okay.
Spray and stuff because there was groups of people. Somehow they know certain people needed a certain healing and stuff. And when you go up to do the ayahuasca too, they ask you, did you have any effects, anything? And you say no, then they go and they whisper to the shaman and he might do something special to it to boost it up the way that it's supposed to be boosted. Oh, by the way, also Rhythmia is a globally recognized medical facility, which is a lot different than just checking in with some guy Macumba in the jungle that happens to have a
they actually have
somewhere.
Medical doctors on staff.
Yes, it's actually very safe space to do all this stuff. That's another reason I felt.
Yeah, they check your heart. They check everything when you first go in there.
Yeah, and when I went to have my physical before that, I actually had high blood pressure. I thought, what? But that's because I walked fast to get to the thing. So of course it was up there, and she just said, let's check it again. Why don't you relax a little bit and chill out? And then all of a sudden it was down to whatever, over 30 or whatever the heck it is.
Sure.
It was all back down better. But at first I thought, oh my God, I got high blood pressure. So the feminine energy thing, that's all I can really say about that. That was where it was beautiful. The music these guys are playing and their voices are just amazing.
Yeah.
It's recorded music and live music. So there's a whole group.
So it made you get emotional though.
Yeah, you start seeing stuff happening, you start thinking about stuff, and it just gets you to emote. And it was beautiful. Yeah. And I mean that beautifully, rather than my old self would just say, hey, that's beautiful. There's kind of like nothing in it, no energy in it. But there was a woman there that was also that lived in New York, and Monica is going to New York, and something told me they needed to connect. And I connected them too. And Monica, I just get emotional now. Send me a picture. Why am I getting emotional? So I had to make that connection. So those two got connected in New York. She sent a selfie of me.
That's cool.
Where my phone is. I'm gonna pick it up just because. I don't know if I can find it. Because there must be a reason why I'm getting emotional with this.
I totally get that.
There it is.
Nice.
That you guys see too. That's my wife and her new friend. But I knew they had to connect for some reason because of their positions and stuff.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff happened in the feminine area. You start seeing things that have to happen because we're all little light workers, and they say light warriors, but I don't like that myself.
Sure.
I don't want to start a war, a spiritual war. I'd rather just let's have coffee or tea or breakfast and
Yeah.
chill. We don't need more wars. So warriors, we're light workers, not warriors. I don't even like work.
So while you're going through all of this and you're like starting to get emotional and anything, is there anything inside clicking yet? Is there anything like coming together that's starting to click, that's starting to like make you feel like, oh, this is exactly what I needed?
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little more about that.
Yeah. As you know, I've been in the event industry since I was like 10 years old. I started doing magic when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And then at 10, I was doing a muscular dystrophy carnival, and where I was used to do events in my garage and charge a quarter.
Right.
And I've been kind of in the event industry, and I'm so tired of the event industry because it's so old and ingrained in me.
Sure.
But I still believe that people want to meet people face to face in person.
Yep.
At events. And I believe that a video like this is the closest thing to it. That's why I want to do videos like this so people can get to know who we are. We're here in Minneapolis, on the west side of Minneapolis, if you want to come visit. Or we can Zoom if you want to Zoom. So all of the tools and things that I've got, and my things I've learned over the years, needs to shift into a different pattern. It's not the business world. It's not networking events and all this stuff. It's higher purpose stuff. It's getting people to understand that they've got, from conception to age 7, trauma built up in them that has created a personality. And if it's not perfect and wonderful, you need to get rid of this shit so it is perfect and wonderful. And we've got the ability to help each other do that kind of stuff. Like that event that you had that for some reason it wasn't getting any traction and you had to cancel it. That's sad.
Yeah.
Because miracles could have happened.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But there's other events, so it is what it is, right?
We're gonna do it again in the fall.
Or before.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna try again in the fall. I really think that this is something that some people want. I just, for some reason, it was not connecting at the time. And a grief ritual like that,
I wouldn't call it that.
It's kind of.
I don't want to ritualize grief.
Well, I mean, that's what it is, though. I mean, if you're just looking at it, it's
grief healing ceremony.
Well, that is a very accurate description of it.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why it didn't go. I think it was called the wrong thing. Like, there's something a lot of people say that I want to change your life. Do you want to change your life? To me, the energy's got to be fixed with that. Because do you know what it means to change your life?
Go ahead.
A baseball bat across your knees would change your life.
Oh, yeah.
But you don't want that.
Yeah, right.
No, you might want a hug. That might change your life.
Right.
So I think that it's really important, the words that you use to create intention for stuff. So you ask, like, what has changed? All the different knowledge I've experienced in 67 years and the tools and things I've got and all the websites and shit that I got and all the email addresses that I've accumulated and the landing pages and stuff, that needs to be shifted into a different lane. And it'll be more the light worker, healer, expanded consciousness, make the world a better place, people and planet and stuff like that.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm not really surprised hearing you say that. Like, I knew that you were going there to figure out what you wanted to do, to find your passion again. And I can tell just by looking at you, you did, because the light's back in your eyes. You're excited about it again.
Yeah.
And I can see that. Like, your actions, everything. Like, I can see that. It's night and day. And anybody who's watched you and seen you before will notice, like, you are absolutely very animated here. So and I have to say, knowing you from these last, what's been a couple of years now, and we've been working together pretty closely, I would say, for like the past 6 months, if not longer. And during that time frame, we've talked a lot about what is it that you really want to do, and you kept on kind of hemming and hawing about it, but it was very much, I want to do something that actually makes a difference. I want to do something with somebody that's
a good difference.
Exactly. And you were like, I want to do something that like really helps people grow, that really helps them connect with other people, stuff that makes them feel as though they're going somewhere in the world. Mm-hmm. So those are all words that were tossed around. And now to have you say that you really think it needs to be focused on kind of more of the higher self and the spiritual self and moving in that direction, absolutely doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it's that, and it's also this this money thing. Because when I went down there, I had these money blocks, and there's still stuff that's there, but mm-hmm. It's now turned around. I did a 180, so it's going a different direction. Mm-hmm. And part of the things that I was trying to create in the event industry and the business industry were these affiliate programs and things, but there wasn't any purpose behind it. There was just like, I got this affiliate program.
Yeah.
So a person can earn 50% commissions on building this community, but why? Who cares? Whatever. So I'm changing this thing up a little bit to be able to have people take these spiritual retreats and heal and be a better person and actually earn a living from doing it. And it isn't about hourly compensation. It's about just doing what the heck you enjoy, as long as it's not killing people and animals and wrecking shit. Just doing good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not get destructive. Yes,
sure.
Things do have to decompose on their own time and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So that is what's changed, and that's what I want to do, is take this thing that I developed, and I need to re-energize it and give it a different flavor for the conscious creation, spiritual, woo-woo, entertaining, fun. Oh, we laughed a lot, man. Some of the shit that happened. Here's a quick little story that I thought was very funny and cute. You know how at the end of these retreats, people are leaving and getting on their bus and going away. So all of a sudden, everybody, oh, I'm gonna miss you so much, and they all gather around, big group hugs and stuff. And then there's another person stood up and says, "I got to leave early. My shuttle's leaving." They get up, and all of a sudden, everybody gets up. Oh my God, I'm gonna miss you so much. I'm gonna miss you so much. Then there's this guy that was this dancer.
Yeah.
He was the character in the whole group. And it was his time. He said he had to leave early. So he starts to go out the door, and this one girl, the girl with Sean, she gets up and she's just prancing over like a little bunny rabbit. And he goes, No, I'm not leaving. I just have to go on an appointment. And she turns around. Goes to sit down. It was so funny because she was so, oh, I'm gonna miss you. Oh, no big deal. You're still around. It was so funny. You'd have to be there, one of those experiences, but we had some laughs.
That's awesome.
There was one guy, he was sharing, and we were, you know how I say 1 + 1 = 11?
Yeah.
So I shared that with some people, and he said his vision was that this whole Rhythmia thing was a Colombian cartel plot, and he was gonna get killed. So he was literally in a corner. He was scared and stuff, trying to hide. He was having a paranoid experience.
Wow.
But he resolved all that stuff, and he's going like I don't understand this shit. It's like 1 + 1 = fish.
Yeah. So, there are times in that where, where you're just like, what the heck am I experiencing right now?
Well, that's just it. You got to let go of all that logical mind and realize that this monkey with feathers that just came up and stole a banana and stuck in your ear is there for a reason.
Right.
Just make this shit up. So that was the feminine energy one was about beauty. Listening to the music, really enjoying it. I did see some psychedelic stuff. The guy's head disappeared and stuff like that again. And
Yeah.
I didn't see any like warrior type beings because
Sure.
there wasn't any confrontation stuff that was happening there. But I did see these angelic type people dancing around. So that was just,
Nice.
laying down, listen to music, and then stand up and just chill and watch people doing stuff.
And no purging that night. That's good.
Not for me. But
Nice.
there are other people that are purging. And some of these people, I mean, God, for a night, if you can imagine what it sounds like, in a bucket.
Yeah.
And there's 20, 30 people, 50 people.
Yeah.
This stuff is happening. And it's just amazing watching these people. It's like, God, that guy's not going to live. I even saw some people. I thought, we should check up on that guy. I don't know if he's alive. So I was watching his chest. I'm trying to see if his chest is moving. There's some weird shit like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, whenever I went through my ayahuasca experience, like my first night, I did not purge at all. In fact, the first cup, because the way that we did it at the one that I went at, we didn't start until right before sunset. And then they start doing the whole ritual. And then by the time the sunset happens, you're taking your first cup. And then it goes all night long. So we did the first cup, and then a couple hours go past, and then, and then they're like, all right, everybody can come up and start taking their second cup now. And I did not even feel it. It was like, well, I did, but it was extremely mild. It was like super mild. It was much more like what you were saying, right? And I did not get sick at all. Then the second cup, and I drank the second cup, and I did not have a purge. I did end up having to run to the bathroom. So I did totally have that. I'm like, at that point, like that was on both cups. Like I did end up having to run to the bathroom. And the funny thing is that at that point, because I had been fasting too, so not fasting like completely no food, but having a very restricted diet, eating very specifically, and eating very light, right? So I was eating a lot of meals throughout the day, and I was eating very light. And at this point, like by the time I got that second cup, I'm like, what is there more to poop out? What is going on here? I just thought like a little bit. It's like, it was weird, right?
The thing is, it's not all physical stuff. It's also
it doesn't feel that way. And it's like a black tar. It's not like normal stuff either. It's not normal stuff.
Exactly.
So it's very interesting. And the way that they did it is they did a little tiny cup, and it was bitter. And then you eat a grape afterwards. So they might have put something in it to like lessen the bitterness in it. It's entirely possible. There's a few really famous things you can do for things like that. There's a seed you can crush and you can put on it, which makes bitter taste sweet. And there's like other different things like that you can do. But it was, but yeah, we chased it with a little grape, basically. We chewed up the grape and then we would swallow the grape. But anyhow, so the second night, my first cup, I definitely got sick on it. Like the first night I did not get sick, but the second night I purged. And
see, again, I suggest changing the language, that you didn't get sick. You actually got healed.
Oh yeah, I would agree with you. That is definitely a language thing there, because it was definitely a purge. It was absolutely a purge. And as soon as I was done with the purge, I felt better. And I did not take the second cup that night. That was my funny experience. I think I've told you this experience. I did not take the second cup, so I was having some medical trouble with taking it after having, diarrhea for multiple nights and, stuff. I was having trouble. So I was like, I'm not going to take the second cup. And then all of a sudden the little DMT entity shows up and puts it in my stomach, and I went through the roof again. And I was like, oh, dude, why'd you do that?
Well, this stuff is working even if you don't know it's working. That stuff is things that it's happening.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if it's not affecting your physical body, it's affecting your system.
Yeah. And for heart stuff, very specific things, actually, I would say ayahuasca is definitely a more adept medicine at taking care of those specific things that you're looking at doing. Like, whereas mushrooms, I tend to go to mushrooms most of the time because I just find that they're extremely powerful, and the spirits of the mushroom is definitely very ancient and tribal, and it's very it's almost like tapping into our ancestry, and that's just the way that I feel about it. Ayahuasca is like a different state. It's almost like you're tapping into this weird, like, universal energy that's there. And they're both like that, but one makes you go makes you go down and makes you kind of like go into this space that's like very very earthy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And the other one goes up and it goes into this like real ethereal space.
And which is which?
Ayahuasca is more ethereal.
Right.
But ayahuasca, I don't like, there's a lot of people I know who very regularly do ayahuasca and everything, and they also will do mushrooms as well. And they will tell you flat out, like, one lady runs ceremonies for both, and she'll tell you flat out, mushrooms are a whole different thing. Fungi are psychic. And she will talk about it like that, because when you're running group sessions, like, she runs sessions for like 30 people, no problem, for ayahuasca. She won't do more than 8 on mushrooms because she says it just goes out of control, and you can't control it at all, because literally everybody's energy starts to mingle.
Right.
They start communicating like psychically with one another, and it just starts to get away from you really quick, so she can't hold the energy.
It seems to me that mushrooms are like a below the surface of Earth. They're like a network underneath, whereas ayahuasca is more of a network up. You're more feminine energy and more logical in the mushroom world.
I would say that is, well, I wouldn't say that it's more logical. The mushroom world is definitely not more logical.
No?
No, I've definitely got more direct messages from ayahuasca than I do mushrooms. Mushrooms are a little bit more you kind of have to figure it out sometimes. But the people I know who talk about how the mushrooms are oftentimes much more powerful. It's much more powerful. It's much harder. Like, you go on a journey with mushrooms, whereas ayahuasca is definitely, it's a flow.
Whoa.
It's been a while.
That's another thing, is the time in the sessions.
Yeah.
It's not relevant.
It's not. It's totally not relevant. It's totally not relevant. But how are we on time right now?
You want to guess?
I'm guessing it's been about an hour and 15 minutes.
6:16.
6:16, so about an hour.
Hour and 15 minutes.
Well, I don't think we started at 5. I think we started about 15 minutes late, so probably about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I think we'll call this part 1, and I think that we'll write some notes, and then we'll continue part 2 next time.
I would call this introduction, and then we'll come up with what we want to. Who knows what's going to happen? But
yeah.
So that's what happened with the feminine, and then the last session.
Yeah.
Was sort of a closure, just a chill. It was really, I didn't get sick. I didn't purge. Everything was cool. It was
just very mellow.
Kind of a closing off of it. Yeah.
Nice.
And then the other parts of the trip, there was some more breathwork sessions and more camaraderie and eating and sharing. And one thing that I wish I would have done when I was down there is express myself more about my concept of this. What do I want to call it? Movement. I don't want to call it a movement like I'm like the leader of a movement or something like that. And I don't want to call it a business venture either, even though it's going to be connected with monetary income. So I don't want to call it a busyness venture.
We all connect with monetary income because that's just the way that our world measures the movement of energy right this minute.
Yeah, it's just that's the way that stuff moves
Yeah.
around. But like some of the people have been sending me some emails and stuff, and I've got this other level on the Synergy Collaborative that's $7, and I'm kind of like, if you want to pitch me your shit, become a member. Become a member of this family. I'm just going to listen to your stuff. I don't know who the hell you are. You sent me your spammy thing, and you're showing me all these.
Sure.
I'm mentored by a 6-figure earner. I really don't care. Why don't you become a member, be my friend, get to know who each other are.
Yeah.
And then we can see if I give a damn about your 6-figure mentor.
I would also like to note that 6 figures isn't really that big of a deal.
7-figure mentor. They're talking as a multi-billionaire. I want to my space for all this stuff is $100,000 a year.
Sure.
I want to get people to earn $10,000 a month and or $100,000 a year, recurring, passive, and scalable. That's what I want to get people up to. And doing something that's for a good cause. Just because you're selling software that creates AI videos, I don't care. I don't know why. What's it going to do? Is it going to stop these fucking wars?
I agree. I agree. Well,
okay.
it's
okay. High five. We're going to close this one off.
It's the biggest reason. It's the biggest reason why I don't do network engineering anymore and stuff like that. Is because
network engineering. What the hell is that?
Well, that's what I did for years, connecting internet networks together and stuff like that. There came a point to where I looked at the technology and I was like, yeah, I don't think this really helps people anymore.
Yeah. He used to be an engineer. He was like a magic mushroom engineer. Hooking networks together. Right? Yeah. Okay. I'm signing us off. Peace, love, and happiness. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, become nice. Did I say be nice? Yes, be nice. Where's my off thing? See ya. Bye.